flipped.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Hi, everybody. This is Andy from New England Race Events for the Midstate Massive Ultra Trail.
And this is Rich from New England Race Events.
Let's just get this out of the way real quick. How do we look on the stream? Can you guys hear us? Just give a thumbs up in the comment, and we'll get going here in a sec. I just want to introduce really quickly, Assistant Race Director Meredith Beaton is going to be moderating the chat. So feel free to put your questions in there. And then we will try and get to all those at the end if we don't answer your questions beforehand. So let's go over here to Rich.
Yeah. So for this is our 7th year, and this will be the year we have the most runners, 377 across 3 events. So we're super excited about that. Also excited about some new partnerships that we brought on to support the race. So Vibram is back again as our presenting sponsor, but we've added Arc'teryx, we've added Goreware. All the race shirts are Goreware. Loco Coffee also is going to be on the course, and Athletic Brewing also at the finish line. So we're really excited to have all these partnerships. Arc'teryx and Vibram are going to put together some really cool stuff at the finish line. So we're going to set up a recovery tent, a separate recovery tent. So if you want to go stretch out, use some foam rollers, we have massage therapists coming in. All of that just to sort of help soothe those tired muscles. Of course, you could always go into Lake Wallem. Nothing wrong with that either. So very excited about those new things for us this year.
So first I want to just make a huge shout out to the Midstate Trail Committee.
Yep.
The Midstate Trail Committee is a group of volunteers that help maintain the Midstate Trail. The Midstate Trail, if you don't know, is pretty much comprised of handshake agreements and blazed with yellow triangles like Rich is holding up. This is primarily what you're going to be using to navigate the course. We'll get to some other navigation stuff in a minute.
Yep.
And also there are over 100 private landowners that have given us permission that we've reached out to over the course of the whole year to allow us and you to actually run behind their house, past their decks, near their swimming pools. Please remember that this trail is not an officially recognized eased trail. It only exists because people who own land that it crosses have said this trail can be on my land, and we've gone out and asked permission from all those people and companies, state entities, to make sure that we can do this.
Yeah, and that includes the Department of Conservation and Recreation.
Right.
So even though we're starting for the 100-miler in Windblown Camping in New Hampshire, we'll come up and over Mount Wachusett, DCR property. We'll go into Mount Wachusett. Before that, we'll go through Leominster Town Forest, DCR property, Mount Wachusett, DCR property, Howe State Park for the 15K start, Rutland Long Pond, all the way to the finish, Douglas, all DCR. So it's as much. We're very grateful to have DCR as a partner, because we have to get permission through them. They partner with the private landowners as well. So Andy was right. There are sections of the trail that you will literally be running through somebody's backyard. You will see into their kitchen windows. Not many, but there are a few out there. So be mindful, especially at night. Not that you guys are going to be running with cowbells at night, but again, it's a very sensitive balance, because the MST works with each one of these private landowners. We then go and do a reach out to all these private landowners to get these permissions. Okay, so it's every year we have to repeat it. It's not a done deal, and some folks are a little bit more sensitive than others. So just remember that. Be respectful for these folks who are really helping us out with this.
I think with that said, we'll move into the race handbook overview real quick.
Well, so
and I'll let you sort of
there's a lot that goes into this event. I mean, we understand as endurance athletes that there's a lot that goes into your training, but behind the scenes, there's a lot of information that we put together to present for you so that you guys can have the best race experience possible. probably one of the single most content rich items here is the race handbook. So it's on our website. It's referred to in the emails that we've sent out to you. It contains a lot of information. We've iterated every year. We refine it. We make improvements, but it really does capture kind of everything that you guys really need to know about doing the event. And we want to make sure that you're prepared. You're prepared in your training, but we want you to be mentally prepared and know everything you need to know about the event. So between the handbook, the website also contains a lot of information. We just want you to be, go in there as much as possible. So I'm going to pause for a second because a lot of questions coming up. So we're just going to see if we can maybe answer a few as they're coming in.
Yeah, sure. The first question that we'll address here is, can you break down how to read the arrival cutoff and total times on the spreadsheet of the waved start? This runner wants to make sure they understand what they're reading, and it's not a dumb question. It's an absolutely appropriate question. They said it seems like a dumb question, but definitely not.
No,
not at all. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's a wave start question, right?
It's about the arrival and cutoff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wave starts are done in large part to logistically support this race, because we wouldn't be able to put it together without going in the wave start fashion, slowest to fastest. What that allows us to do is to basically establish an open and close time for each of the aid stations. For each of the 3 races, we take projected paces from 10 minutes a mile all the way out to 20 minutes a mile. And we calculate what would the arrival time be for a runner who's running from the 50K start, or from the Rutland, or from the 100K start at 8 a.m., 9 a.m. all the way up to 1:30. Those projected times across all 3 events are overlaid, and that helps inform us about so that we can capture the front end of the race, the back end of the race, or the event, if you will, for all three races. So we take a look at that. We take a look at the projected times, and then we add a buffer on the open time, a buffer on the close time, because even with all the calculations, we want to add a little bit of a tolerance, right? Just to make sure that we're not, having, closing up sooner than we have to be able to give you guys the support that you need. So we spend a lot of time doing this. It's actually it's fairly accurate, quite honestly. It's very rare that we have a situation where somebody starts at a certain time and either outruns the support or comes into it at the back end when the support is closing, if they have projected their pace correctly. And that's why the pace projection is actually really important, so that we could seed you properly, and just ensure that you're going to show up somewhere between the open and close times. The other thing we do is we have volunteers. Now, these volunteers that support the aid stations, a lot of them are from community organizations throughout the state. They could be a church organization, could be an explorer group, many nonprofit organizations we make a donation to. They are there sooner than you're there. So they arrive at these aid stations to help set them up. They stay afterwards to help clean them up and close them down. So that timing, the open and close timing, is for our staff, and then it's also for you.
Great. Thanks. I hope that answers the question. Do pacers for the 100 need the capacity to carry 2 liters of liquid as well? Easy answer is yes. It's just the capacity. They need to be able to show us that. They don't have to run with it full, but it's just a lot easier for us to require the pacers for every race to have the same safety gear as everybody else in the event.
Right.
That's just a hands down. Like, I know it's kind of, they might only be running like 15 miles, but you might get lost together and find yourselves somewhere in the woods for 10 hours.
Or they may, or they may be running for 30 miles,
right.
40 miles.
Yeah.
We don't know that.
We don't know that.
So
right.
we have to make sure that they are prepared.
Yeah. Another question about safety gear. Someone just wants to confirm that reflective tape all over hydration pack is acceptable as reflective strip. That should be acceptable, as long as it, doesn't fall off and it captures light. And
so there are places where the trail crosses a road.
right.
Okay.
That it doesn't replace having a blinky light.
Right. So we want you to be visible.
Yeah.
And primarily when there's a road crossing. So just be mindful of that.
Right. So we want you to have a red blinky light. And to that point, we know in the race handbook, it does not say for the 50K runner specifically to have a red blinky light. However, if you're on here and listening to the briefing right now, we probably would say that it's best practice to please bring a red blinky light or something reflective with you, because Sunday there's a chance of rain in the morning and you might be on a road with rain or in low visibility and fog. So for your best safety, I know it's not in the guide specifically,
right,
but we would ask that you think about your safety and definitely bring that. They're like, $3 here or there. I think we might even have some at the 50-mile start that we can have at the 30-mile start too.
Right.
30K start, 50K start. Oh my gosh. Are headphones permitted? Yes, please be aware of your surroundings. And we'll get to this one. I saw different colored shirts this year. Are the different colors for different distances?
No. Men's and women's colors.
Yeah.
Men's are green, women's are lavender.
Our race shirt provider was Gorewear this year.
Right.
So those were the options that we were able to get from them. Sort of a new partner that we're testing out, and hopefully, we enjoy them. Here's the
men's shirt.
Yep. It's almost like a forest green.
Yep. It's quarter zip, so it's a little bit heavier than your typical running shirt. Okay, I'm going to reveal the back logo. It's very subtle.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Rich. All right. So let's see. We left off here. I feel like we can get into navigation a little bit.
Right.
And then we'll talk about that and some. We'll address some race joy questions that have been popping up.
Right. So, Midstate Trail, maintained by the maintainers volunteer organization only. Primary navigation. You'll see these pretty much everywhere for the 100-mile run. Look for the yellow blazes. A couple of years ago, we worked with them to put reflective dots on these. So peel and stick reflective dots so that they light up with your headlamp at night. That's been a big help over the past few years. In some sections of the race, we actually deviate from the Midstate Trail course. It could be due to a permissions issue where we can't continue in that one section. We have to go around. In that case, we have these. Well, looking at it that way. You guys see that? Yeah. These are reflective. So your headlamp will shine on the yellow, and these will pop, especially at night. We use these at road crossings. We use these where the Midstate Trail deviates, and sometimes we'll use it just to augment the blazes that are already out there for your visual navigation. So that's the visual piece of navigating. GPX coordinates loaded on the course section of our website. A lot of people have been talking about what's the difference between 2024 and 2025. There's no difference. The course is identical to last year. So download them on your Garmin or whatever your device of preferred devices for navigation. The next piece, so we have two. So visual and then your own personal navigation device. The third piece is your cell phone and the app called RaceJoy. Now, we know there's been a bunch of questions about RaceJoy. We've had not the smoothest rollout over the past couple of days with folks, but everybody's loaded up. All your information, your bib, your name, bib number, etc., is all loaded up into RaceJoy, including your cell phone. Why is that important? So it's important for a number of reasons. It does provide tracking for yourself, or navigation. It's a navigation aid for yourself. So you, as you're running, not that you're going to necessarily have RaceJoy and look at RaceJoy while you've got your Garmin going, but you could, and it does tell you when you are off the course. So if you make a turn, you're at a fork in the road on the trail, and then you go down for 5 minutes, you don't see anybody else, it actually will vibrate and it'll tell you that you've made a deviation. Your crew can follow you. So when they're trying to anticipate where you're going to be, when you're going to be there, they can find Steve, find the dot for Steve and see how you're doing. Thirdly, we can follow you, and that's probably the most important part, is we want to be able to make sure that we have identified everybody in all 3 races. So we want to follow you from start to finish. We want to find out where the front end of the race is, the back end of the race is. And so we use it to make sure that we've identified where folks are. Sometimes people get lost.
Yep.
We look for the live dot and we can actually find out where you are. We can pull you up, call your cell and say, so Steve, we noticed you're in Fitchburg. That's
18 miles off trail.
18 miles off trail. Let's see if we can get you back on track. So that's why it's like triple redundancy, if you will, right? So we don't expect you to rely exclusively on the signs, exclusively on the GPS, right? Or on RaceJoy. You put them all together, it's a pretty solid plan.
Yeah, and one thing to note, the Blazes going south will have a little yellow reflective sticker on them. So at night, it's almost easier to follow the trail of Blazes. And that's the feedback we've gotten from runners for the last couple of years. Yeah. The Blazes are about 400 meters apart, and maybe closer in some sections, depending on if it's a turn location. The Midstate Trail Committee are the ones who maintain the Blazes.
Right.
We did a recon run this summer where we identified a bunch of spots where runners go in and out of the woods, and we try our best to put up the arrow signs and turbo flares and notify the Midstate Trail Committee of where some Blazes need to be put. So we've really tried to do our best. That doesn't mean you might not miss a Blaze here or there. You're looking down at your feet. You look up. If you are off course by, I think it's more than
1/8 of a mile.
It's like 200 feet.
It's pretty quick.
Yeah. If your RaceJoy app will notify you that you've strayed off the course. But you should be seeing the Blazes like pretty frequently. So much so to the extent that, you're either cursing them or praising them at the end of the race, depending on your finish time. Yeah.
So if you have questions about RaceJoy, we're pretty busy getting ready to get this, get the event off the ground for you guys. We have found that the support folks over at RaceJoy have been immensely helpful. And if you got a piece of paper or pencil or your phone, jot down support@racejoy.com. Support@racejoy.com. If you're having a problem with your profile, not seeing it, etc., shoot them an email. They've been really fast at reconciling some of the issues that have come up.
And there's a link in the description with that email. So you should see that at the end of the video.
Right.
Yep.
Questions? More questions?
We talked about RaceJoy. Do Pacers need to have the RaceJoy app? Good question. We've never actually considered that. And actually, it's probably better that they don't, because it will confuse us. And actually,
yes, it will confuse us.
There should be no reason why a Pacer with a runner should have the RaceJoy app, as the Pacer should never really
That's a great question.
leave the runner.
Yeah, great question.
So good question there. And then I saw another one. Can I have a third Pacer? I see that right there.
Yeah.
As regards to Pacers. We say that runners can have up to 2 Pacers.
Up to 2 Pacers, right.
Generally because it's, a course capacity issue.
Right.
I would say this. If it's critical to your race that you have a third Pacer and you do not increase the number of vehicles supporting you for the event, I don't know what. This is like, we can't make this decision right here, right now.
Yeah.
But
we're maxed. We are very mindful of the number of runners on the course at any one time. So we're being really careful not to put too many people out there, and so hence the limitation of Pacers. Okay.
even though it's only one pacer running with you at any given amount of time. Right. So,
all right.
Yeah. Moving on. My runner's concerned about missing where he needs to leave the road into the forest. We showed you the arrow. We try to do our best. There are some spots that are tricky. Just slow down and use the mapping tools we give you.
Yep.
We'll get to race shuttle in a minute. And then for fun. Okay. So yeah. Let's move on to the next thing, and we'll get to a couple more questions.
What was the for fun?
We'll get to that.
Come on, you let me. You're lead me on with this. All right, so we talked a little bit about the open and close times, the arrival times for the aid stations. Let's talk about your arrival time for your race. We recommend 45 minutes before the start of your race. When you arrive, there's a few things that you'll have to do. The first thing you'll have to do is you'll have to go through safety check. And our safety check is to make sure that you've got the right gear. So you've got your flashers, you got the right water capacity, you have an emergency blanket, etc. Look in the handbook for the complete list of items you're supposed to provide to us and show us. It's not enough to say, yeah, it's in my car. You actually have to come forward and show us everything that you have to support you for your race. Okay. So you go through safety check. We have a bag drop tent, bag drop location for the 100-mile start, the 50-mile start, and even the 50K start. Okay. So one of our staff will collect all of your bags that you drop. They'll be tagged with your bib number. Okay. They will be transported magically ahead of you. So even though you start and you're wondering, will my bag be at the next location? We've identified the bag drop locations further down the course. Our crew will load them up. They will transport them, and they will be there before you arrive, all the way to the finish. Okay, so for all three races, all the way to the finish.
There may be a couple fringe cases where, with the finish line, if you're running particularly fast,
right,
you may arrive to the finish line 20 or 30 minutes before your bag, before your first round of bag arrives.
Yeah.
We have a whole system of getting them there. Sometimes you have someone having a really good day can get to the finish line before their bag.
Right.
But we try to get them there as quickly as possible.
Right. So one other new feature for the aid stations, this big honking sign sitting behind us, is this is going to be not this. This is the aid station sign for the start for the 100-mile. We're going to have signs like this at every aid station. Okay. So you're going to know what the distance is to the next aid station, where it's located, what your elevation gain losses, any services, what your crew support, etc. Okay. So this is a new feature for this year. So as you run into an aid station, this will be mounted to the one of the tents, support tents that's out there. So give us feedback. Let us know if you liked it. We hope you do. We hope it's helpful. Yeah.
Yep. I'm seeing a lot of questions for the shuttle pop-up.
Sure.
We can talk about the shuttles a little bit.
Yeah.
People want to know about the shuttles.
Yeah. Okay. So we have two shuttles. They come in at different times at Douglas State Park at the finish. Okay. This year they're going to be located at the boat ramp. Now, when your crew, since you're taking the shuttle, You're not taking crew. Okay. For anybody else, there's an upper parking lot to Douglas State Park. That's where all park visitors go. Our buses are going to be down at the lower parking where the boat ramp is. And so from the finish line, you'll see signs. It'll say shuttle bus this way with an arrow. And I don't think it's more than 300 yards.
No,
it's not very far.
Not even.
You'll follow the signs out of the where the finish area is to where the boat ramp is. And boom, there'll be a shuttle bus there. Now we have a schedule for when they're going to be there. And that's posted on the website in the handbook. And the way this is going to work is, and I'll just say the first shuttle leaves at 10:30. Okay. So all the runners who have come in up until that point that want to take that first shuttle, they just wander to the bus. They say, hey, I'm runner number so-and-so. They'll show their bib, right? We have a list of everybody who signed up for the shuttle. Bus driver will say, yep, you're all set to go. Come on board. After a few minutes, close the door, and then they're off. Now they'll ask you, where do I drop you? Because they're already planned to go to the 50K start, then the 50-mile start, then the 100-mile start. Then they loop around and they come back. Okay. So you'll have to tell them. And it's quite possible maybe all the runners who get on the bus are going only to the 50-mile start. Great. That's the trip. He'll go to 50-mile start and then comes back. A couple hours later, a second shuttle bus will arrive and we'll be doing it again. And so throughout the day, there's going to be four trip opportunities, four shuttle bus opportunities where, depending upon when you finish, we will make announcements at the finish line with our DJ, telling people, hey, the next shuttle bus has arrived. We'll be leaving in 20 minutes, countdown, leaving in 10 minutes, leaving in 5 minutes, etc. So we'll let you know, okay? But you'll have four opportunities to take one of these buses and get dropped off to where your car was, which is a really good segue for this. So you can go to our website, and it's also shown in the handbook and in the pre-race email to everybody. If you're going to be leaving your car overnight at any one of the locations, please print this out. We will have a few of these at the start areas, just in case you didn't happen to print one out. Fill it out, your name. If it's your pacer can leave their car there too, right? Plate number, etc. Put it on the dashboard. That's all you need to do. Okay. All three locations. No, two of the three are DCR
right.
parks. We've already made arrangements with the park supervisors to permit that. The third, which is the 100-mile start, we've made arrangements with the owner there.
I see a question that right here. Locations include aid stations. A pacer is trying to meet crew at the 50-mile aid station. The 50-mile aid station in Rutland is an absolutely massive parking lot.
Yes.
It's also our 50-mile start.
Right.
And it's where we put up the largest amount of race support in the entire course, because it's a confluence of the runners coming in. It's where you get your first pacer. We have porta potties there. We have a giant parking lot. We have a
giant tent,
a 30 by 40 tent.
Yep.
With food, with heaters, places to sit.
Yep.
I think there's a dumpster there if you need to throw out cardboard, if you're gonna have some cardboard. It's gonna be legit, and you'll have lots of amenities, facilities as you're waiting for your runner. If you're pacing, or if you're crew. If you're a runner, there's a full buffet aid station there. That will segue into talking about the food in a little bit.
Yep.
So yeah, you can definitely leave your car in those places with the parking pass. You can pretty much leave them at most of the crew aid stations. All of our partners along the course understand that Fay Mountain Farm, there's plenty of opportunity to leave a car there.
But the shuttle bus isn't going to Fay Mountain Farm.
Right, exactly.
Right. It's only going to go to Howe State Park, Rutland
Right.
Long Pond, or Windblown.
Right.
That's it. So
that's what exactly. Right. Pay attention. If you're leaving your car at another aid station that is not the 50K start, the 50-mile start, or the 100-mile
Right.
start, the shuttle bus won't go to that aid station.
Right.
That doesn't mean you can't leave your car there.
Right.
But
you'll have to figure
out a way to get there.
Exactly.
That being said, also, if you are planning to leave your car at the finish on Friday or Saturday, on Friday,
Yep.
you have to be there no later than sunset.
Right.
Because they close the gate at sunset. There's no specific time that the park says. And
notionally, you should think 5 p.m.
Yeah.
You should be parked and leaving before 5 p.m.
Thanks, Rich. Thanks.
When they close the gate, they close the gate. And
Yeah.
That's it. So
Yeah.
we don't have control over that. Right.
Yep.
So okay, one more. So what did you want
to? Let's talk about food maybe real quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
go into food.
15 aid stations. There's a food list that's posted on a website. It was the link to the website's in the pre-race email. A variety of food items throughout from top to bottom. If it's a crew support aid station, you obviously now have the opportunity to have your crew bring your own food or special food in there to supplement whatever we've put out. Okay, every aid station will have water, scratch, rehydration, drinks, and a variety of food items. But again, I will suggest that you go to the food list that's posted on our website, and for the most part, that's what's going to be there. Okay, we may tweak it over the next 24 hours and update it and maybe add some things, but that's our plan for food support. Any other questions about food?
I do not see any questions about food right here. A couple still about the shuttle. Let me see this. Hold on. About we closed the shuttle online registration today. It was supposed to close the 5th, but we closed it a little late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's primarily so we can print a rider list for the buses in advance, and at least in our mind, based on when you started, we look at it. We try to budget like where's the runner density going to be. It's not a guarantee. You will be able to get shuttle tickets at the finish line. We are not at capacity yet, meaning we haven't sold out the complete seating capacity for the shuttle buses. So there'll definitely be an opportunity to get there. Go to the merchandise tent. We have a merchandise and refreshment tent. Just look for the sign, and then go in and buy a shuttle ticket. Right.
Great question here about using the bathroom between aid stations. We attempt to have porta potties at almost all the aid stations.
Wherever we can.
Yeah. And I know there's a note in the handbook that talks about if you go to the bathroom on the trail, that's grounds for disqualification. The reason the language is so terse in that regard is because of the nature of the trail that we sort of talked about earlier. And that being said, we've all been there in the woods, and be aware of your surroundings. If it's an absolute emergency and you're on in someone's backyard, wait. Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
So because nobody wants to walk out on their deck and see somebody peeing on a tree in their backyard or worse. Yeah. So just use some common sense and consideration as to how you would feel when you're looking out your backyard and you see your runner dropping their shorts. So don't do that. There's plenty of woods, plenty of privacy. Use the privacy. Okay.
Yeah. And good question here. If I keep my phone on airplane mode using RaceJoy, will we be able to track their location? The answer to that is no. We won't be able to necessarily track you while you're in airplane mode. We will see where you turned airplane mode on, and your marker will stay in that place.
It won't move.
And it won't move. The benefit of using airplane mode, however, is that it prolongs your battery life, and you'll be able to still navigate using RaceJoy. In this scenario, for people using airplane mode, every now and then, maybe when you come into an aid station, try to remember to turn airplane mode off. I know there's a lot going on in the race, this and that. It will just help us, keep track of you. And so we're not running out into the woods looking for.
The other suggestion is to carry a USB battery to charge your phone or keep it charged while you're running, or you have a spare one in your drop bag. There's a variety of ways. Turning off the other apps that are pulling down the power on your phone is a third way to help preserve battery life. So and the RaceJoy links that we put on the handbook has some very helpful ideas about how to get the most out of your cell phone battery life throughout the duration of the event.
And if
special note about the iPhones.
Yeah, special note about the iPhones. iPhones are particularly secure, but what we've noticed is that when a runner using an iPhone uses RaceJoy, if you wait until race day, it's going to ask you a ton of permissions questions to allow all these notifications and permissions and access to your GPS. Please try and download the RaceJoy app now, tonight, tomorrow, and accept all of those permissions, especially if you're in the 50K race. I know it's something that we always run into there, especially because it's just 50K or whatever to some people. Please it's not just turn on your phone and it works. You need to go through the process, and all the steps are actually in the handbook. Under section 6.3, I believe. So if you can go into your handbook and see the exact process, your iPhone will prompt you to accept all of those permissions. And if you have any problems, please email support@racejoy.com for that. And I'll go back to the shuttle real quick. Question was, I bought 3 tickets for me and my friends who are running. Your name will have all 3 of those tickets next to you. We know what your quantity of tickets are. So if you've bought multiple tickets and you're with your crew, then that'll be fine. Yep.
We haven't kicked anybody off the bus yet in 6 years. That's not going to happen.
No. All right. So where are we at? We talked about food a little bit. Support. Yeah.
I don't want to get to the finish line yet. So the other support feature we have for the runners on the course, if you need to drop, and you are not in a space where it's a crew support aid station and you have crew there, we have a runner support vehicle that is shadowing the race. So it's one of our EMTs, and he's driving a passenger van, and he's going to start on the course at around Wachusett, aid station 4, at around 8 p.m. And he's linked up with all of our EMTs. So when you get into an aid station, there's 2 things about this, and this is for all runners. When you go into an aid station, you have to check in. You have to check in. Our EMTs are there to check you in. Make sure that they acknowledge your bib number when you check in. That's number 1. And that's for us to account for everybody. So we kind of belt and suspenders, old school, write down the runner's name. Race Joy is the second piece, right? Is where are the people, right? Making sure that they all have come through. So we want to make sure that we do that. But if you're having a problem, you twisted an ankle, whatever, your race is over, and you're at the aid station, checking with the EMT, tell them, my race is over. I'm going to need a ride to the finish. We'll get you to the finish. So our runner support vehicle is following the race. They may not get you there right away. You'll get a towel to wipe down. You'll get a blanket. You could, get some food from the aid station, climb in the van and warm up. And he's going to drive all the way down to the course, and eventually he'll get to Douglas. He can drop people off at crew support aid stations. He's not going to be driving to alternate places. He's following the race course up and down, back and forth between aid stations, ultimately going to Douglas. So just keep that in the back of your mind, but you have to let the EMT know that you're dropping. And they'll make the call to get you a ride.
Rich, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
When are bib numbers assigned?
They were assigned last week. Bib numbers were we pre-order our bibs about 5 weeks ago. So when you are at the race, you will notice some people have their names on their bibs, and these are people who had already registered. We pre-assigned them a bib number. We've got their name on the bib. For people after that sort of cut time, they still get a bib, but it won't have their name on it. And all those bibs and all those bib numbers have been pre-assigned for all 3 events. The start times show your name and your bib number.
Where can you find that information?
The start times?
Yeah.
It's on the website.
Is there anywhere else that they may have received that information?
In an email.
Oh, okay. Great. We sent out an email to all runners.
2 emails.
if you're on this call and on this chat and asking that question, we assume you got the email about this live stream.
Yeah.
But also a couple days ago, we sent an email to all the runners,
right? So,
with all that information. So please check your spam boxes if you haven't gotten it.
Yeah. So there have been 3 emails. There's the initial week to go email, right? And that had a lot of information. It referred to tonight's conversation. It also indicated the first round of start times. Lots of people wrote into us and said, hey, I think my pace wasn't quite right. I want to make an adjustment. Can I move it from here to there, etc.? We took all those emails were examined, and we made adjustments to start times, and we pushed out another one. And then we pushed ultimately what you see now on the website is what it says, the final start time for the 100, the 100 and the 50 mile. The 50K is a mass start event, so it kind of doesn't matter. So we've made all those adjustments, okay, based on the input that we received from you. If you reach out to us now and you want to make a change, it's kind of too late. Where everything is pretty much locked at this point.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's go talk about real quick course conditions to the extent that we can. It rained today pretty hard, at least in the southern part of the course, probably from Sibley Farm to Douglas. I was out there putting those yellow signs up with my mountain bike and a bag of steaks on my back, getting beat up by a rocky, wet, leaf littered trail. I would say that probably, a good amount of leaves have fallen in that storm. But the trail is still pretty navigable and it's still beautiful up here. It's wet now, but I don't think it should be too wet by Saturday. Most of the water spots that were pretty high today should be drained by then.
Yeah, it's been very dry. So in New England, Massachusetts, for the past 6-8 weeks, we've had it's been very, very dry, not a lot of rain. So the ground isn't saturated, unlike 2 years ago when we had rain pretty much every weekend, and then it rained the weekend of the race and the water couldn't go anywhere, couldn't get absorbed by the ground, and everyone was running with water up to the knees. That's not the situation that we face.
All right. And this year we're looking at Saturday temperatures in the mid to high 60s to start, and then overnight dropping into the mid to high 40s. Then Sunday, potential for rain in the southern part of the course. I'm not really seeing how hard yet. And the percentages have been 5% and 30%. So starting at 11 in the morning or 8 in the morning. The thing is to walk away with, Sunday could be a little bit wet. So be prepared for that, especially in these temperatures overnight. You'll be dry, but you'll be sweaty, right? So you'll make sure to have your emergency blankets. We don't want to have to send anybody to the hospital with hypothermia or anything like that. The temperature swings this time of year can feel really great in the day, but then you're sweaty and your clothes are dry, a little bit damp, and then all of a sudden it's 40 degrees out and you're shivering. So just pay attention to your race kit and how you're going to be layering and your water protection for Sunday potentially.
Right.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
I see some questions about emergencies, response to emergencies. So we have an EMT crew that's at every aid station throughout the race. So from the very beginning all the way to the very end. Most of the time they triage minor injuries. So ankle twists, abrasions, things like that. They're not there to treat anything of significance. So if you break a bone, if you need medical transport, they are going to call 911 to get an ambulance on site to transport you. They're not allowed to transport you to a hospital or one of the medical facilities that's located in the back of the handbook. Okay, so there's a list of medical facilities throughout the course that we reference, but our EMTs are not permitted to transport you. Okay, so you'll have to arrange for transport. Again, either call 911 to get an ambulance, or if it's not major, but you still need transport, you can call an Uber or other forms of transportation. Okay. If it's in between aid stations, okay, and this can happen, we will go into the woods to find the runner who's injured. Okay. And that situation is typically a runner will come through the woods and say, hey, there's a runner who's down about a mile back. Okay. We will arrange to have somebody go backtrack to find that runner to help them get out of the woods. Right.
Yep.
And the thing is really important, really important part, in some parts of the course, It's daytime. You will be crossing a road. There are places where you will see people, you will see cars. Other parts of the road, you are absolutely isolated. Okay. You are in the woods and there's nobody around you. And your next nearest help is going to be the runner who comes behind you. So if you are struggling, not a time to demonstrate pride and ask for help if you feel like you need medical assistance.
Great.
Yeah.
Taylor asked a question here at the bottom of the chat. Can I change my pacer out at an aid station that's not labeled for crew? And that's no. There should be nobody driving to aid stations that are not labeled for crew.
Right.
The reason we designate crew aid stations is because they're specifically large enough for your crew to be at. If it doesn't say crew aid station, it means if more than 5 cars show up, it's going to be chaos.
A problem.
Right. That's why we designate crew aid stations and regular aid stations. Yeah. And to that point earlier, I talked about Fay Mountain Farm leaving a car there, and somebody I think responded about Fay Mountain Farm being parking restricted. That is true. Fay Mountain Farm is delicately parking restricted overnight. As the race moves through later in the day at Fay Mountain Farm, parking does open up a little bit, and we've also gained a little bit more area there. We really don't. We're trying not to overwhelm the area, and there's some nice neighbors that have given us access to their private land to put cars. So consider Fay Mountain Farm still parking restricted in case of emergencies, and obviously, like if your crew, please use your best judgment. You're the ones there. You're seeing it. You're the ones, I can't be there. Rich isn't always going to be around to see it. So we really try to do our best based on the information we gather from the prior years and just make little tweaks as we go. Yeah. And I don't think I have anything else to say about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the finish line.
Finish line.
All right. So you guys are going to get to the finish line, and we want you to get to the finish line. So we're doing everything we possibly can to get you to the finish line, other than driving you to the finish line, which we will still do.
Yep.
But you won't get a medal for doing that. So at the finish line, we've got, as I said, recovery tent set up, which is a new thing between a partnership with Arc'teryx and Vibram. We picked up some our arches for the race, and today going to reveal this is the mug for the race. For in the past we've had coffee mugs. This is the thermal mug, but this is pretty sweet. So Andy and I were at Vibram today picking up some gear. So we're super excited. They're going to have a bunch of stuff stuffed in the mug for you guys when you come across the finish line. We will have the recovery tent. Definitely take advantage of that. Plenty of food. Everybody gets a free meal, hot meal from Bon May. We will have hot soup. We will have apple pie, pumpkin pie, hot chocolate, athletic beer, loco coffee, and propane heaters inside of tents with blankets so that you can properly recover before getting on the shuttle bus.
Wait, what if like someone's like they're waiting for their runner to come across and they have kids and they're hungry?
Oh, you can buy a meal ticket. So if you'd like to buy a meal for your family, you can absolutely do that. Kids get free hot chocolate.
Where do they even buy that?
Oh, at the merchandise tent. Sorry.
Oh, okay. And kids get free hot chocolate?
Kids get free hot chocolate.
Wow.
We don't charge kids.
Great.
Yeah.
Cool. What else at the finish line? There's a DJ.
There's a DJ playing some cool music.
We'll do award ceremonies.
Absolutely.
And if you want to dip in the lake. It's an amazing recovery. I don't know what else.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you got for any questions?
We've really.
Have you run out of questions?
Have we run out of questions?
Let's
make a call out. There's 108 people in the chat. That's about a third of the total participants of the race.
Right.
And hopefully maybe people who aren't here will be able to watch this on our website, on YouTube under New England Race Events Live. Let's see. I don't know what else. Are pacers allowed to leave cars at aid station parking, at crew aid stations with the parking pass.
Crew aid stations.
And our crew and I saw a question about crew vehicles. Do crew need the signs? The only time you ever really need this sign is if you're leaving your car somewhere.
Your car there.
You don't necessarily need it, and it doesn't hurt to have in case you're like, oh, I need to leave my car because an emergency came up, and you have to go with someone to a hospital or, God forbid, something like that. But no, you don't need to have it unless you're leaving it somewhere.
Right. So you actually made me think about one place, Wachusett ski area. So aid station 4, and this is mainly for the 100 milers only. So aid station 4 is a crew support aid station. On the day that we come through, it's also the same day that they do an annual ski swap. So the parking lot gets completely packed with people who are looking to talk about skiing, not running.
Right.
We do our best to mark the parking lot to help you navigate through the sea of cars that are mostly parked, and people till you can acquire the trail. Our aid station is right at the base, right before the trail starts to go up. Okay. So, but be mindful of that for the crew who are parking. Obviously you're going to want to try to park as closely as possible. We'll have pop-up tents. We'll have flags. You should be able to identify us as you're pulling into the ski area parking lot. But just be aware. There's going to be a lot of people there.
Great question from Mike Armstrong. Should crew be wearing reflective gear at night? Absolutely.
It doesn't hurt. Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of the places where your crew are going to be are, places that are kind of near busy roads here and there. And you get excited. You run across a busy street. You want to be seen in case a car comes up over a hill. I've described this course as like a James Taylor song. It's like country roads, and you want everyone to come home with you. Yeah. So like wearing like a cheap little reflective vest, it is more beneficial than not.
Especially if you're going to leave the parking lot to cheer your runner on. So at night, right? And so the area that I think about often is Rutland Long Pond, which 100-mile runners come in there because it's an aid station there. 50-mile runners go out. There's quite an interesting traffic flow that we have set up for the 100-mile runners coming in on one lane, the 50-mile runners going out on the other. Once you get outside the parking area, it's pitch black. Yeah. There's no light. And if there's a vehicle coming, you want them to see you. I mean, you might be waiting for looking at RaceJoy on your phone to find your friend. He's coming, and you want to stand there and cheer them on. But if you can't be seen, then you're kind of putting yourself at a risk. So, that's all. Yeah.
And Julia asked about RaceJoy. What if, despite all my packs of batteries, does my phone die anyway? Well, then your phone dies. And we aren't able to see you. So that's one, minor consequence. And your crew or people tracking you aren't able to see you. But if you have a watch that's still working, you can come into an aid station and that might have a generator that maybe you can plug into, and get a little bit of juice into your phone that way.
It's as we said, it's the third prong.
It's the third prong
for navigation, right? Visual first, GP. Your preferred GPS navigation aid would be the second. RaceJoy is the third. It's not the primary.
Yep.
Okay. So if it goes out, it goes out, and we won't be able to see you. But again, this is why our EMTs are checking you in at every aid station to make sure we've accounted for you.
Yep. Because then we can see what was the last aid station that Julia checked in. Right. Oh, okay, it was 8.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll go between 9 and then back to 8, and then start to look for you that way.
Exactly.
I'm late to this, and it might have been answered already, but is there an exact location for start and finish of the 50K?
Of course. The 50K starts at Howe State Park. Okay. Howe State Park in Spencer.
The trail is if there is an coming, you will see Blaze pointing in the direction of the occupancy